Hey, Dr. Mike here. Are you into fermented garlic? You probably should be. Stay tuned to find out why.
You're listening to Live Foreverish, a show dedicated to helping you live just a little longer. Here's your hosts, Dr. Mike and Dr. Crystal Gossard.
All right, welcome to Live Foreverish. Garlic, Dr. Crystal.
Yes. I love it.
I do. I know you put it on a lot of stuff, and you put a lot on.
I do, and I don't care if I smell.
I know you don't.
I give disclaimers, though. I let people know. When I was teaching, I would come in and tell the students right away, now listen, last night was a garlic night.
Yeah, it's so good. I mean, it's been. I mean, what didn't we learn? It has been cultivated for like 5,000 or something.
5,000 years, used for health benefits, culinary use. It's just it's one of those precious. I wonder if it was traded. It's probably.
It's you probably would think
it's in
so,
the category
right?
of the chocolate and the coffee.
Oh yeah.
Who knows? But I like it.
My favorite is roasted.
Ooh. And then you spread that roasted garlic on a slice of toast.
So good.
Better than butter.
We actually have a show here to do.
But I'm sure our listeners are indulging with us.
They should be. Garlic. Hey, but we're going to talk about fermented garlic because that's a really good way to really concentrate those compounds. Because garlic isn't just we love it for how it tastes and makes food happy. It makes my mouth happy. But there's compounds in it that are really good for me. Mm-hmm. And fermented garlic, which is really kind of becoming the thing, concentrates those key things, right?
Yes, it does. Well, the fermentation process in general, we do know that it transforms food. Whether you're adding bacteria or yeast or something and allowing it to ferment, or you're just utilizing the natural microbes that reside on the vegetable or the fruit. The fermentation process creates compounds. Sometimes you have amino acids, enzymes that are produced. So yes, the fermentation process can create healthy, beneficial compounds, sometimes make it a little more digestible as well.
Now before we get in, because we're excited about one specific way to ferment, right? And we're going to get into that. But I just want to, and I know we debated about all this, right? Aged garlic, black, all these different words, right? But just generally speaking, there's fresh, and then there's fermented. It doesn't even break down like that, does it? There's like fresh, aged.
Well, you see aged and fermented kind of used interchangeably in the research. There's some heavy debates online on they are not the same thing.
I know. But then there's some people that say they are.
Right. Yeah. So, and I think what's confusing is there are different types of fermentation that let's take garlic, for example. It could be as simple as just immersing the garlic in salt water, and leaving it at room temperature.
It's a good way to preserve your garlic if you don't know what to do with those big bags.
Yes,
you can buy those bags that are already peeled and everything. But you don't use that much. Maybe you do, but that could last. That's many meals.
We have
but no, one way to use it and keep it is to ferment it.
Yep, preserve. It's a way to preserve it. And then I think what we're talking about today is the fermentation process where we're using high temperature, humidity, and fermenting it from 10 to 90 days.
Yeah.
And that temperature, and when we say high temperature, we're not talking about 400 degrees Fahrenheit. This is 140, 190 degrees. So the temperature you would typically keep something warm in your oven.
Like the warm on the stove type thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, but that causes a browning effect, kind of more of a caramelization, and it turns the garlic black.
Yeah, so black garlic. But even that gets confusing. Because then you would think black garlic is this fermented type garlic, and then some people say, well, you can also get black garlic by just letting it oxidize. I don't know. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. But I will tell you, at the end of the day, fermented garlic, aged garlic, black garlic, even in the culinary world, it's getting popular, and it's now getting popular in the medicinal world.
Yes, and that's what I'm excited about. To be truthful, Dr. Mike, I don't like the fermented garlic that you find in the grocery store, your health food store, or the cooking. I've gone to restaurants and it's just like fermented garlic and it's black garlic and it's supposed to be like this thing. I don't like it.
I'm gonna get some black garlic and I'm gonna oven roast it and see if there's something different there. I'm going to try that.
You're not going to like it.
Did you do that already?
I've never, no, because you don't have to, it's already kind of roasted.
Okay. You're right. Okay.
Yeah, so people cook with it, but it's supposed to have a milder, sweeter taste, chewier texture. I think maybe it's the texture.
So we're talking about fermenting garlic at a high temperature. With humidity, 10 to 90 days, and what magic happens when we do that? Why are medical scientists looking at this and saying, "Oh, this is pretty good"?
Well, because it's increasing the amount of an antioxidant. I can call it that. S-allyl-cysteine.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yeah, and you can just call it SAC.
Yes.
We'll
say
SAC.
And that SAC has been shown to, in research, tons of research, that the SAC has beneficial properties, antioxidant properties, anti-inflammatory properties, and the amount of this SAC is negligible. Like, you're not going to have this in your fresh, raw garlic.
Right.
And so this fermentation process, the SAC is created.
Yeah. It comes from, there's a reaction that happens, right? There's a compound in fresh garlic that through the heating and the humidity and the time turns into SAC.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the health benefits, I mean, it's shown to target diseases related to inflammatory issues, Alzheimer's, arthritis, asthma, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease, which is really the focus that we're seeing in the research that we'll go over
at
today.
Least the initial
cardiovascular disease.
But I think there'll be more research coming down the line in some of these other inflammatory type conditions. Yeah, I think this is great. Now, what about smell? So this is still, it falls under that category of odorless.
Yes.
Yes,
because what's responsible for the odor, that pungent flavor in garlic, is a compound called allicin.
Right.
And the allicin is, once you ferment it, you're losing that allicin. So you don't have the allicin there and available. Dr. Mike needs to turn off his notifications.
You're not calling me out already. Did you just call me out?
And that allicin is not in amounts that's going to cause the odor in your fermented garlic.
I like to think of it like decaffeinated coffee, right? You don't ever get rid of all the caffeine. So it's still a little bit there. Same thing here. There's still a little bit, but not enough to really cause. You don't have to worry about the next day.
Right.
Like you do when you eat it.
Yeah, so people like that, because even if you are taking garlic nutritionally kind of as an add-in, some people can't take just a normal garlic extract, which is giving you kind of that allicin potential, because it causes GI upset. And that has happened to me.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
On my rendezvous with garlic. Yeah. And so you don't have that with the aged black garlic.
I think the only time you really want to smell is if you're doing it for immune support, right? Didn't we talk about that before?
Yes. So that's a good point, Dr. Mike. I know everybody's excited about black garlic, but there's still room.
First of all, garlic's just good. Whether fresh, right? It's all good.
Yeah, there's still room for good old garlic with allicin. If you're wanting it for immunity, that's what you should look for. But right now, in the realm of black garlic, we're focusing on cardiovascular health.
Well, let's get into the research. Yeah. Because this is pretty good numbers here, right? I mean, the results of this, at least this first one.
Yes, randomized placebo-controlled clinical trial in 56 healthy adults, borderline high values for cardiovascular risk. So when I say high values, we're looking at your typical lipid profile.
Yeah.
Cholesterol, LDL, triglycerides.
And when we say they have borderline, that's pretty much your average American walking around. Let's be honest. It probably is.
Right.
Most Americans are walking around borderline. Right. Okay. So, but overall healthy, right? We're not looking at people with actual cardiovascular disease. 12 weeks.
Yes.
500 milligrams. Here's what's interesting about this type of fermented garlic, right? It's only once a day, where I know other types of, as a matter of fact, this is a good question for you. So my dad, for years, I'm not going to say the name of the product, but he was taking a very famous garlic supplement, right? And it worked pretty well for his blood pressure. Are we like how do you compare like that big one to this, like, or is it different?
I would say this. The compound that we're excited about, where we have the research, that S-allyl-cysteine, you don't see that compound called out on different with other garlic
brands.
Ingredients, right?
And by the way, these other garlic brands, what they have more like the word aged on their, right. So just aging garlic, you might get a little bit of the sack. But when you ferment, you're getting more, I think, of the sack, right? And that's why we're excited about it.
The particular fermentation process with the what was given to the participants in this study, it is 2 times or more of that sack is being delivered
than garlic.
Than just your typical garlic formula.
So 500 milligrams a day, though, that's good. That's just once a day. A lot of those other garlic supplements, you take several, 2 or 3 times a day. So that's good.
Yeah, so 500 milligrams a day, primary outcomes measured, serum triglycerides, serum total cholesterol, LDL, HDL. This is that lipid profile that your doctor, they get it back. And the doctor says, well, we see those triglycerides are creeping up. They also measured fasting blood glucose and blood pressure.
Okay.
And the results, are really impressive. Significant reductions in all of those lipid parameters and increases in HDL. And that's unique when you start looking at trying to manipulate your lipids. Usually when you bring down total cholesterol, LDL is coming down, HDL is coming down, everything is
it knocks
lower.
it all down. Yeah.
And so when you see something that's increasing the protective HDL cholesterol, we like to see that. If we want to put some numbers to it, on average, and this is compared to the baseline levels, on average, triglycerides were reduced by an average of 19.82, at cholesterol by 24 points, LDL by 19.86 points. And this is after 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And the researchers did see it trending, the improvement at 30 days. So
a decent quick start.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there were improvements at 30 days. The best effects were seen at the end of the trial at the 80.
Well, listen, but if you're
12 weeks.
if you're borderline, your doctor has told you we got to start watching your triglycerides a little bit more, all that kind of stuff. You're going to take this. This should just become part of your daily regimen, anyways. Not 12 weeks. You don't just stop at 12 weeks because that's what the study did.
Right.
You're going to keep taking it.
Yes.
And then who knows what happens with that extended time now.
Yes, and what I like about nutritional options, these add-ins, is that it doesn't mean that you can stop your medication, but maybe, a good integrative practitioner will add this in. You can kind of lower the dose of
the beauty of
whatever you're
integrative
taking.
medicine.
And I think that you can hopefully reach those optimal numbers that you're trying to reach with your doctor.
At the end of the day, it's about those optimal numbers. And if you have high blood pressure, you got to bring it down. Everybody knows that.
Yes.
And if it takes a medicine, it takes a medicine. But wouldn't it be nice to find that balance with nature?
Well, here's the thing. I think nature is the missing component, Dr. Mike. Now I can get on a soap.
Go get on it. Get on up.
Cardiovascular disease is the number one killer globally.
Yes. Even though we do more research in it than any other disease state,
right.
we have made no headway.
So obviously the lifestyle, the exercise, the diet, the stopping smoking.
Oh, big.
Or don't start. Let's go there.
It's always easiest, right? Not to just start in the first place.
Not to start. Moderate alcohol consumption. You have to do those things. And we do know as humans, we struggle with self-control.
It's a
but I think the nutrition piece is missing, and some of these nutritional components that come in, and they're not just working in one mechanism of action. Like we talked about the garlic and that S-allyl-cysteine anti-inflammatory, antioxidant effect can target platelets, because we do know that garlic, can help with
blood flow, basically.
Yes, improving blood flow. So it's working in so many different mechanisms of action. I think it's something people should consider.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna get some black garlic and I'm gonna oven roast it, and I'm gonna let you know.
Okay.
I've been told it has a deeper, richer flavor. Although roasted garlic just by itself is pretty deep and rich, so it'd be interesting. Come on, just let me do it.
Do it.
Well, you're shaking your head like, why is he doing this?
Because I'm just thinking about my experience with it. I was very hopeful. It came with one of my, I do my meal preps. It was part of one of my meals.
Because I don't know how readily available black garlic is at grocery. Is it there?
Yeah, I've never seen it in your conventional grocery stores, but like the more specialty stores.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to try it. Anyway, this is fantastic information.
Yes, garlic.
I do.
The new kid on the block, black garlic.
Well, yeah, kind of the new kid on the block. I mean, a new version of an old kid from the block.
Okay.
See that? See?
I like that.
Yeah. Great information. So definitely if you're listening to this and you're you fall into that borderline category, right, which a lot of us do, talk to your doctor about this. Check it out. I think we even have, is this an article, right? A wellness article for them?
Oh, yes. There is a wellness article about garlic supplements. I think the best thing, if you're looking for information, you can go to lifeextension.com/wellness.
Oh, yeah. And you'll see there's a whole bunch of articles there, by the way. Yeah. So check that out at lifeextension.com/wellness. Don't forget at liveforeverish.com, you can download, like, share, comment to many, many episodes now. Well over 400, approaching 450, I think.
Yes.
Getting there, yeah. And don't forget to subscribe, right? That way you never miss a show, Dr. Crystal.
That's right.
It's so easy. You just subscribe and you get dinged and pinged and whatever they call it.
Yes.
That's great, right? So that's at liveforeverish.com. And then also our sponsor, Life Extension, wants to say thank you for being such a great audience. If you go to lifeextension.com, purchase whatever you want. When you get to the cart, put in the discount code PODCAST. Podcast. And you'll get $10 off.
10%.
I keep saying that right.
He wants to give you $10.
I do.
Maybe we can make that happen.
10% off $50 or more with free shipping and handling. Use the code podcast. I'm Dr. Mike. That's
Dr. Crystal.
Thanks for listening.